I'll tell you one thing that has excited me about our denomination since 2013 was the introduction of this idea called new worshiping communities. And what the denomination said was that, yes, we want to develop new congregations, but we want to also develop a more expansive way of being church. And some presbyteries said, yeah, let's do it. Many said, we don't have anything to do with it because we don't understand what it is. But there's one presbytery in our country. We have 165 presbyteries. There is one presbytery in our country that has more new worshiping communities than chartered congregations. And that presbytery is San Fernando Presbytery, where Juan Sarmiento is the executive presbyter. And that's where I found out about Juan, and I have just admired him from afar. And I said, man, I want you to come and talk to our presbytery about the wonderful things that are going on in San Fernando. So how many new worshiping communities do you have out there?
We got 42 new worshiping communities and at this point, and I want to say, talking about kindness, you have been nothing but kind to me and our colleagues from Grace Presbytery in Dallas during the last couple of days. So I want to thank you and want to say that your leadership is well respected around our church.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
man. Juan, tell me about, like, we're talking about kindness. Tell me about some stories around kindness and as you've seen it through some new worshiping communities.
Well, probably one that comes to mind is not as numerous, but very reflective of the diversity of where we are. The location of the San Fernando Presbytery is, I often say, is behind the Hollywood sign, right? We're not in front. That's another presbytery, but we're behind this Hollywood sign. We are in the area where Warner Brothers Studios is located. The studios left the Hollywood area in search of um, land and space, and it also has a distinction of being the place where the Black Lives Matter movement started, and it's about 47% Hispanic in population. So the one particular new worshiping community that reflects kindness is an Indo-Pakistani new worshiping community that started at a home of someone that fled Pakistan under religious pressures. Um, and at the risk her life, Mrs. Bibi relocated to our region, and we had a leader that started gathering there of people that know what it is to face challenges because of one's own faith. And it's just beautiful to see them worship in Hindi and in the languages of their region. And it is an expression of enduring faith
Yeah.
that we need in our midst.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about these worshiping communities worshiping in different ways and different languages. What type of diversity are you experiencing there in San Fernando through these communities?
We are amazed at, I often say it is like a Pentecost time for the San Fernando Presbytery. We often hear, and when I started as a member of the San Fernando Presbytery, people say, "Oh, we are not gonna get it right. There's no way. We just don't do right with a population of this region." And we're seeing the number of Hispanic new worship or congregations grew in the last 4 years from two to eight. We have significant leadership from the African American community in our midst, and certainly I mentioned the Indo-Pakistani, and a younger population of millennials, people that have been burned out by church. And I oftentimes tell them, listen, you come on over. We hope you experience kindness here.
Mm.
But when you don't, we hope that you could also extend grace to us.
Amen. One of the things we're going to be doing next year, and we're going to talk about it in November, but we're doing all the prep work. Everything in the presbytery is always a bunch of prep work, and then you bring it out. Is we're talking about connecting with this organization called Cyclical, which was actually developed in Juan's Presbytery. And this organization helps presbyteries to bring forth more new worshiping communities. And we're hoping to use them to have an explosion of new worshiping communities as well as innovative ministry in our presbytery. So the question becomes, how do new worshiping communities connect, or how are they in conversation with traditional churches in your presbytery?
Well, just last Sunday before coming here, I worshiped at First Presbyterian Church of Granada Hills that has is partnering with a new worshiping community that is working among the African diaspora. And now they're thinking of perhaps partnering with another new worshiping community for their population that is over 25% Hispanic. That's one, a more established church. And then after that, I went to a new worshiping community with 300 people worshiping joyfully. And that just started 3 years ago. So innovation is important to us. And among the population that have experienced church perhaps negatively in their lifetime, it is a significant draw, knowing that a mainline church is willing to innovate, is part of their appeal, of the appeal that they feel to hang out with us. You know, that's what we want. We want to learn from them. We want to hear their concerns, and we want to engage and learn together. And, um, and something beautiful about cyclical is back to your vision of the presbytery as an ecosystem. They develop an ecosystem where kindness is not just a series of random acts. Presbyterians, we like random acts of kindness, but we also like decently and in order, right? Um, One thing is Cyclical has provided us the opportunity of creating systems and a structure for innovation, for sustained innovation. And that is has been very helpful. I mean, you are Presbytery of Chicago is a Matthew 25 presbytery, and we talk about structural racism and systemic poverty, right? Or the other way around. So we are aware of those components in our society, and things in which that we need to confront and live into a different reality, the reality of the gospel, God's reign. Um, but for some reason, when it comes to kindness, we think that no systems or structures should be in place, right? My work in the last 4 years has been around providing the undergirded systems that help us not only innovate, but also continue to identify new leaders that will help carry this work forward.
Well, I'm going to stop it here. I do have one more question. All right, I got one more question, and then I'll be this. The question I have is, been around all these new worshiping communities, and you've seen all these expressions of faith. What have you seen that you would love for our traditional congregation to get, to experience?
I would say that there is a need for us to realize that we certainly have much to learn from people out there. That part of kindness has to do with engaging people in a welcoming way. Um, we Presbyterians don't like the E word evangelism as much, and yet one of the more significant lessons that I learned about evangelism has been from Presbyterians in Egypt, in the city of Alexandria, Reverend Iskander, Roddy Iskander. Once I told him, listen, how do you reach out to the community when it is illegal, right? So he said, listen, we just basically what we do is we can't um, invite, we invite people, and because that is a loving thing to do for our neighbors. That is the kind thing for our neighbors. We can't believe having neighbors that will not be invited into our house. Mm. And when they are invited, that gives they are regardless of their faith. We treat them with dignity, with kindness. We love them. We feed them the best because they're our neighbors. And when they like it, they keep coming back. Mm. And that's how we do it. Yeah. That's how we want to do it in the San Fernando Presbytery. Amen. Inviting people to be part of the feast that the Lord has prepared. Yeah. And God will continue to bring many from the east, from the west, and the north, and the south. Yeah. And I believe that Chicago Presbytery has and will continue to experience that into the future.
Amen. Thank you. Let's give Juan If you want to know more about new worshiping communities or innovative ministries, we're going to grab a table at dinner, and you can come and join us and sit and talk. So look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, Shauna. Take care.